What is going on, guys? The 2020 NFL season will feature 5 new head coaches. There were 8 new head coaches heading into the 2019 campaign, and 7 of them will be returning for a second season. As for the rest, they've been around long enough for us to get a good idea of how qualified or unqualified they are for their jobs. So how do each of the league's head coaches stack up against one another as the 2020 season draws closer? Here's our rankings for all 32 NFL head coaches from worst to first. Number 32, Joe Judge, New York Giants. Judge served as a coach on the New England Patriots special teams staff from 2012 to 2018. He was their special teams coordinator from 2015 to 19, winning 3 Super Bowls during his tenure in Foxborough. But we all know how most of Bill Belichick's disciples have panned out as head coaches. Judge has no previous head coaching experience as he takes over an incredibly flawed Giants team. So keep your expectations of Judge minimal for now, Giants fans. Sorry, guys. Number 31, Matt Rule, Carolina Panthers. We're really excited to see Rule install his offense at the NFL level with Teddy Bridgewater and Christian McCaffrey at the helm. Rule gets the nod over Judge thanks to his success as the head coach at Temple and Baylor. It may take some time for Rule's offense to get going at the professional level, but he was a savvy hire. We just had him this low in our rankings due to his lack of NFL experience. We'll see. Number 30, Kevin Stefanski, Cleveland Browns. We have little doubt that Stefanski, Joe Flacco's doppelganger, will do good things with Baker Mayfield and the Browns' star-studded offense. But again, we keep him low because this is his first head coaching gig. That said, Browns fans need to be optimistic because Stefanski managed to turn Kirk Cousins from grossly overpaid into a very good quarterback during the 2019 season. If he can fix Cousins, Stefanski can surely help Mayfield shrug off a brutal sophomore year. Number 29, Matt Patricia, Detroit Lions. The Lions fired Jim Caldwell because 3 winning seasons in 4 years was not enough. Yet they're keeping a guy who guided them to consecutive last-place finishes in the NFC North. Patricia reportedly showed up late at meetings during his first season as head coach. He cruelly insulted Pro Bowl cornerback Darius Slay and ran him out of town. So someone tell me, how does he still have his job? Realistically, we could have easily put him at number 32. But as you know, that's because there are coaches who have literally never coached in the NFL before. Number 28, Zach Taylor, Cincinnati Bengals. All things considered, Taylor did pretty well in his first year as head coach. We're not even sure if Bill Belichick could have won a game with the 2019 Bengals roster. Taylor, an offense-first coach, will do great things with Joe Burrow. The latter will change the entire dynamic of this franchise. And given Taylor's background as a quarterback's coach, this is simply a match made in heaven. We just need to see more from Taylor before we move him up on our rankings. But we love the direction the franchise is headed in. That's always good. Number 27, Adam Gase, New York Jets. We thought Gase did pretty well with a flawed Miami Dolphins roster. He took them to the postseason in 2016 with a backup QB down the stretch. So that's pretty good. His tenure as Jets head coach got off to a really ugly start though. But Gase wasn't the one who overpaid for Le'Veon Bell. And losing Sam Darnold for 3 games due to mono set this team way back in 2019. But the Jets salvaged a 7-9 season following a brutal 1-7 start. Gase and Darnold started to mesh well together in the second half, and the defense really picked up as well. 2020 is a make or break year for Gase. He's got to steer these Jets in the right direction if he wants to stay on as head coach. Number 26, Brian Flores, Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins were trying to tank in 2019, and yet Flores wouldn't sit back. He squeezed 5 wins out of this pretty horrible roster. That included a big Week 17 road win at New England, which cost Tom Brady and company a first-round bye. Now Flores gets to work with a supremely talented roster. The Finns' 2020 offseason haul includes Tua Tagovailoa, Byron Jones, Shaq Lawson, Kyle Van Noy, Jordan Howard, and Matt Breida. Now that he has talents to work with, we'll see if Flores can take Miami to that next level. Number 25, Vic Fangio, Denver Broncos. After 3 decades as an assistant, Fangio finally received his first coaching gig in 2019. All things considered, he did very well. He turned the Broncos defense to relevance, and they finished 10th in scoring. They salvaged 7 wins. And let's not forget they lost a handful of one-score contests that came down to the wire. A few more bounces would have put them in the playoffs. Playoffs? So the future's looking bright with Drew Lock under center. Fangio and the Broncos could very well vie for a playoff spot in 2020 if the young talents can reach their full potential. Number 24, Doug Marrone, Jacksonville Jaguars. We're surprised that he still has a job, but Marrone deserves credit for squeezing 6 wins out of a dysfunctional Jaguars team. Marrone has very little talent to work with entering 2020. The Jaguars are tanking, and they're the favorites to win the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes. But if Marrone can keep these guys hungry and competitive, regardless of their record, he may buy himself another year on the job. Number 23, Dan Quinn, Atlanta Falcons. 2 straight losing seasons. The defense keeps getting worse. Honestly, we don't know why he's still coaching in Atlanta. Thing is, the Falcons offense has been a juggernaut under Quinn, and he did guide them to a Super Bowl Bowl appearance. That's why he plays 23rd here. But if the Falcons aren't a playoff team in 2020, he's out. It's really simple as that. Number 22, KLIFF Kingsbury, Arizona Cardinals. We love what Kingsbury and Kyler Murray did together in 2019, but expectations will be higher following the blockbuster DeAndre Hopkins trade. Many are picking the Cardinals to be the surprise team of 2020. Kingsbury should be considered a dark horse coach of the year candidate. He and Murray worked nicely together in year one. Another year of experience, plus Hopkins' arrival, should lead to even greater success in 2020. Number 21, Jon Gruden, Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders are one of the most active teams in free agency, but winning the offseason is one thing. Mark Davis, $100 million head coach, has got to take Las Vegas to the playoffs now. Gruden and Mike Mayock have put together a promising core, loaded with talent on both sides of the ball. The Raiders showed lots of progress in 2019 too. If they can fare even better in 2020, Gruden will move up these rankings quickly. But again, you never know with Derek Carr, and Mariota's kind of up in the air. Number 20, Bill O'Brien, Houston Texans. Bill O'Brien, the head coach, isn't as bad as Bill O'Brien, the GM. But let's be honest, that's not really saying much. O'Brien is clearly holding back a team that should be competing for championships. But the guy does have 5 winning seasons in 6 years as Texans head coach, including 4 AFC South Division titles. He'd probably be a little bit higher on this list if it wasn't for his brutal play calling that cost his team their divisional round matchup with the Chiefs last year. I mean, come on now. You're really gonna go for it on 4th and 4 from your own 31-yard line against Mahomes and company? Right. You have to do better than that, Bill. And also, why'd you get rid of Hopkins? You're a freaking idiot, dude. Come on. Number 19, Matt Nagy, Chicago Bears. From 2018 Coach of the Year, straight to the hot seat in one season. The NFL is a tough business, and we all know that. Nagy and GM Ryan Pace should just give up on Mitch Trubisky, but they won't. On the bright side, the Bears have fielded one of the league's elite defensive units over the last 2 seasons, so credit Nagy there. It's just too bad that this offensive-minded head coach hasn't been supplied with a legitimate starting caliber quarterback. At least he can fall on Nick Foles in 2020 if Trubisky continues to falter. Number 18, Mike McCarthy, Dallas Cowboys. So Cowboys fans, he's an upgrade over Jason Garrett. You should definitely be happy about that. The question though is, do you view McCarthy as the Super Bowl 45 winning head coach who took Green Bay to 4 NFC title games during his tenure, or as the guy who wasted some of Aaron Rodgers' prime years with an outdated offense and inability to adapt his system? McCarthy ranks outside the top half due to A, his ugly departure from Green Bay, and B, the fact he was out of coaching for a year. We don't know what to expect. So this is a fair and safe spot for him. Number 17, Anthony Lynn, Los Angeles Chargers. 2 winning seasons in 3 years speaks for itself. Lynn has provided some hope and stability for a Chargers team that was going nowhere before his arrival in 2017. Phillip Rivers is gone, but Lynn has much star power to work with on both sides of the ball. We're not sure about the Tyrod Taylor, Justin Herbert QB tandem for 2019, but Lynn will find a way to keep this roster competitive through this transition at quarterback. That contract extension was well deserved. Number 16, Sean McVay, Los Angeles Rams. McVay and the Rams lost a lot of magic in 2019. As such, we had to move him back in this list. The handling of Todd Gurley over the last 2 years, I mean, yikes. And that defense, which was mediocre to begin with, will miss Wade Phillips. McVay also places lowish here because we expect the Rams to be very, very mediocre in 2020. We don't see how he can take this flawed roster to the playoffs. Of course, if he manages to do just that, then we'll have to move him up much higher for 2021. Number 15, Ron Rivera, Washington Redskins. We don't expect the Redskins to contend just yet, but Rivera gets the nod at 15 because of his resume. A .546 winning percentage in Carolina, a Super Bowl 50 appearance. Oh, and yeah, 2 Coach of the Year awards. We do believe that Rivera will help Washington return to relevance in the future, but 2020 is going to be another painful rebuilding season. Give Rivera some time, but he knows what he's doing. Number 14, Bruce Arians, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like Rivera, Arians makes it the top half because of his track record. He's also a 2-time Coach of the Year award winner. Jameis Winston led the league in passing yards under the quarterback's whisperer last year. Now Arians gets to work with Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski. It's playoffs or bust in Tampa Bay this season. Arians' coach teams have recorded 3 straight losing and non-playoff seasons. With all of the Bucs' new additions, that's got to change in 2020. Number 13, Mike Zimmer, Minnesota Vikings. Zimmer has kept his Vikings in playoff contention time and time again. They're just not good enough to win a Super Bowl. That's the issue. Many believe Zimmer would be let go following an early postseason exit. We believe he'd be much better off with a new team. But hey, the Vikings have recorded winning seasons in each of the last 5 years under Zimmer, so you can't really complain on that point, but still, They're just not doing it. He's doing a better job than a majority of other coaches around the league. Number 12, Matt LaFleur, Green Bay Packers. In his first year as a head coach, he won 13 games and took Green Bay to the NFC Championship game. The Pack no longer relied solely on Aaron Rodgers to win games. He leaned on the defense and a powerful rushing game. It worked beautifully. He and Rodgers still have time to win a championship or two together before, dare we say, the Jordan Love era begins. Matt's magic in year one propels him to the top 12. He could very well be the top 10 by 2021 or higher. Number 11, Frank Reich, Indianapolis Colts. Reich took a rebuilding Colts team to the postseason in his first year. Having lost Andrew Luck to retirement, it's still impressive that Reich guided them to 7 wins in a division that featured 2 playoff teams. Reich should be able to take Indy back to the postseason with Phillip Rivers and DeForest Buckner now in the fold. Expect another big year in Indy, led by this vastly underrated head coach. Number 10, Mike Vrabel, Tennessee Titans. 2 winning seasons in 2 years. The second one saw Ryan Tannehill emerge as the comeback player of the year. Vrabel not only ended the Patriots' dynasty in the wild card round of the playoffs, but 1 week later he guided his Titans to a monumental upset over MVP Lamar Jackson and the top-seeded Ravens. For once, it looks like a former discipline of Belichick will actually be a great NFL head coach. Vrabel has implemented a new fun-loving culture in Tennessee. He got them to the AFC Championship game in his second year. We really can't wait to see what these guys do next year. Number 9, Mike Tomlin, Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers fans who were calling for Tomlin's firing were silenced in 2019. Without Ben Roethlisberger for 14 games, Tomlin still managed to guide his crew to 8 wins. In 13 seasons on the job, Tomlin has yet to record a losing season. That speaks for itself, not to mention the 2 AFC titles and a Super Bowl 43 championship. With a healthy Roethlisberger and a championship-caliber defense, Pittsburgh should be a contender again in 2020. Number 8, Sean McDermott, Buffalo Bills. After nearly 2 decades of awfulness, the Bills have returned to relevance under Coach McDermott. 2 winning seasons and a wild-card berth in 3 years. The man is a genius, and he simply doesn't get enough credit or respect. McDermott's Bills have formed one of the league's nastiest defenses. These guys play old-school football, with a punishing defense that's backed by a powerful rushing offense. With Stephon Diggs in the fold, quarterback Josh Allen should reach new heights. And with Tom Brady gone, the door is wide open for McDermott's Bills to emerge as the new kings of the AFC East. Number 7, Doug Peterson, Philadelphia Eagles. 3 straight winning seasons, 3 straight playoff berths. Oh, and yeah, a Super Bowl 52 championship. The Peterson hiring has worked out nicely, and you really can't deny it. The only reason Peterson is 7th. Well, over the last 2 seasons, the Eagles' offense simply hasn't been that prolific, and they've barely snuck into the postseason as a result. Quite a regression from the 2017 championship squad, but a recent Super Bowl winning head coach should always earn a spot in the top 10. Number 6, Kyle Shanahan, San Francisco 49ers. Too high? Nah. Look at what Shanahan did when he finally had Jimmy Garoppolo for a full season. 13 wins and a Super Bowl 54 appearance. Criticize Shanahan all you want for blowing a double-digit lead in the 4th quarter of the Super Bowl. Again, same thing happened when he was Atlanta's offensive coordinator. While we like to focus on the positive, he and GM John Lynch built a downright scary good defense, and they formed a nearly unstoppable rushing game that ran all over the opposition en route to a big game appearance. Shanahan and the 49ers will be a force for a long time. Once he learns how to hold on to a lead in the Super Bowl, he'll be a shoo-in for a top 5 ranking on our list. Number 5, Pete Carroll, Seattle Seahawks. Every year, people write off the Seahawks. Every year, despite a rash of injuries, Carroll and Wilson silenced the doubters. The Seahawks haven't had a losing season in the Wilson-Carroll era, and they've made the postseason all but 1 year. Turns out Carroll didn't need the Legion of Boom to remain competitive. No doubt that Carroll is one of the best in the business today. The only thing missing is a 2nd Super Bowl ring, which would help erase the painful memories of that Super Bowl 49 loss to the New England Patriots. Number 4, John Harbaugh, Baltimore Ravens. Remember the reports about him and the Ravens heading for a split after the 2018 season? Pepperidge Farm remembers. He saved his career in Baltimore by working some magic with quarterback Lamar Jackson. You know, the guy who everyone else seemed to think should be a wideout. His Ravens used deep analytics to build the offense around Jackson. It netted them a league-best 14 wins as well as an MVP for their QB, so no wonder he earned Coach of the Year honors as well in 2019. A .615 winning percentage speaks for itself. Now, if he could just guide the Ravens to another championship with their new face of the franchise, and win a playoff game, that'd be nice. Number 3, Sean Payton, New Orleans Saints. 3 straight NFC South Division titles. Thank you very much. Payton's coaching brilliance was on display in 2019, as he won all 5 games with Teddy Bridgewater at the helm while Drew Brees nursed a thumb injury. It's a crime that Payton and Drew Brees only have 1 Super Bowl together, but as usual, they're one of the top teams to beat heading into 2020. Number 2, Andy Reid, Kansas City Chiefs. having finally won his first Super Bowl ring as a head coach. Reed may have just clinched himself the label as the second greatest coach of the 21st century. Credit to Reed for making the necessary adjustments on his coaching staff after the 2018 season. He and Patrick Mahomes continued their offensive revolution in 2019, and it ended with a Super Bowl 54 championship. Casey has recorded 7 straight winning seasons under Reed, by the way. One guy has done it before since Reed joined the Chiefs. Number 1, Bill Belichick, New England Patriots. Nothing to see here. Best coach of all time. Belichick is going to have to record 5 straight losing seasons or retire before we take him out of the top spot. So, yeah, honestly, like, sorry to be so predictable, but that's just like how it is. I mean, come on, it's Bill Belichick, come on. It's been Belichick's football world for 20 years now. We're just living in it. What changes would you make to our NFL head coaches rankings for 2020? Join me in the comment section below. Make sure to follow myself and TPS on social media, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. We are on everything. Go follow us, all social medias you can think of. You're like, oh, do they have that social media? Oh no, they do. We have every single one. So go find us. Make sure to like this video if you liked it and subscribe to TPS because we post videos every day. Every day's a new video. Of course, I'm Jason Biondo and I will see you guys next time. Am I out of frame? I think I'm out of frame. My knee.